Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pinchot State Forest. It's a Saturday, it's 1 p.m. and I'm going to be doing something a little different for today's episode, for today's video. We're going to be doing a little winter tent camping. It's something I've been thinking about for a while and something I've been wanting to do. So my plan here is we're at the main trailhead for the Pinchot Trail. We're going to hike a short distance, about 3/4 of a mile, and we're going to attempt to set up a camp. I've scouted out a location and I'm going to test my gear and see how it works. And I should point out, currently it's 30 degrees. There's anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow on the ground. But I'm going to set up my tent and see how we make out for a night of winter camping here in the Pennsylvania forest. Now it's expected to go down to about 20 degrees tonight, which isn't too bad, but it's cold enough. So this is going to be a little bit of a test to see how things go. I thank you for joining me. I do appreciate you, and there's only one thing left to do. Go hit that trail and go set up camp. So I have this store-bought firewood. It's been sitting in my car all winter, and I'm gonna tie it to my backpack so I have something dry to get started with, because I don't know what the conditions are going to be when I get to the place I'm trying to get to as far as finding burnable firewood, especially with the snow on the ground. I think I'll be okay, but this will at least give me something that I know is dry and reliable to get started. And I'm only hiking a short distance, so it's another 5 or 6 pounds maybe, but I think it'll be worth it. You can see one other vehicle in the parking lot. This is the main trailhead, and I mean, it's a beautiful day after a really extended cold spell. So I thought there'd be a few more people day hiking out here. So looks like we'll probably have this place to ourselves tonight. I'm almost positive of that. Of course, I did this whole northern loop, I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago, right in the heart of the mountain laurel bloom, and it was absolutely spectacular in here, and completely different scene now, but definitely a good 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground here, a little more than I expected even. We are out here on the Thornhurst section of the Pinchot State Forest, the Thornhurst tract, and we are at an elevation of about 2,000 feet. And as I said in other videos, very dense jungle-like habitat with the laurel and rhododendron. Also one of the few places in Pennsylvania where you can see native spruce trees, because this is one of the coldest parts of the state due to the elevation and northern latitude. So I was talking to a friend of mine a couple days ago, telling them about what my plan was here, and they said, why are you doing that? That doesn't sound like fun. And maybe not in the traditional sense. I'm looking at it as a challenge to see again how my equipment holds up and what I can do personally, how far I can push myself. This is a little baby step, and if this goes well, then we'll be able to go and do bigger and better winter trips, and this will be a learning experience. So that's how I look at it. very quiet out here. That midday sun is very bright. Almost gives you that like snow blindness. It's behind me, it's behind my left shoulder. But yeah, it's like just a really unique forest in here. Laurel, oak habitat, and all the low shrubs, and well blazed with orange blazes. So very easy to follow. Very nice trail, Pinchot Trail. So the overall weight of my pack doesn't feel that bad. It's the distribution with that wood hanging down low. If there was a way I could strap it up higher towards my shoulders or my neck, it would be a lot easier to carry. But this was like an imperfect setup here, so, but definitely that would make a difference. So there's definitely snow in under them spruce, and a decent amount, more than I expected, and some ice here too. So these are real winter conditions here we're dealing with. And I'm gonna walk up the trail a little further because I think there may be some other campsites ahead, but then we'll walk through here and see if we can find something, hopefully with like a little fire ring. All right, so we have our spot. There's a pile of firewood. I don't know how dry it is. There's my backpack. Here's a little fire ring I got to clean out and clear out. And I think right by that tree is where I'll set up my tent. It is 2:45 and I have my shelter set up. I'm going to take you in there in a moment and show you what I got. I was a little apprehensive at first getting set up here, but things are getting a little better now. And again, this is an experimental video. This is a test, a trial to see how we do in the snow here with a winter tent, with a tent setup. It's not a winter tent, but let me take you inside and show you what I got. I still have to tighten things up on the outside here, but once I get this established completely, I'll be spending the next hour and a half getting this fire ring set up and scrounging together as much firewood as I can before it starts getting dark. That's the main goal here. Here we are inside home for the evening, and it's pretty simple setup like it always is. Got the basic REI simple inflatable pillow, the REI Trail Pod 30 sleeping bag, okay, rated to 30 degrees. It's going to drop to 20, but I think we'll be okay. 2 extra really lightweight but throw blankets, something to wrap around my head and my body, and you know, that got that there. I am going with the REI Trekker 1.75 self-inflating pad. Now I have a really nice sleep pad for day camping that I wanted to bring, but it was just too big and bulky. So this pad has an R rating of 5.6. My regular backpacking pad, the Nemo Tensor, is only 2.8. That's light and fluffy, but I went with this one, which I haven't used for a while because it's not very comfortable, but it does have the 5.6 rating. So again, we're just trying to survive the night here. Going to tighten things up with the tent, basically on top of snow, on top of ice. So it's going to be hard. I can't really get any stakes in the ground, so I got to figure out some creative way to tie things up to get some ventilation in here. But I want to start collecting firewood and getting that aspect ready immediately, because that's going to be essential to getting through the night here. Here's the wood I brought in on my pack, and you can see this pile here that's been left here. I don't know how good of a quality it is or not. And here's this little ring. So what I'm gonna do now is try to scoop as much snow out of there as I can, because I've never made a fire in these conditions, so this will be a real test. And then we're gonna go out there and look for some good, decent firewood. So I'm gonna head out now looking for some firewood. I don't have a hatchet with me. I do have my knife, and I do have this Sven saw, so I can cut anything that's dead but that's up out of the snow, and it should help me process some firewood, because that's going to be a key tonight. There is a sense of urgency, I feel, to get as much wood together and get this fire going as soon as I can. All right, now this right here, this is a good example of exactly what I'm looking for. You can see it's old, it's very dry, it's up off the ground, okay? I can pull this whole piece back to the campsite and cut this up, and that'll last a long time, a piece like that. I'm going to keep processing and breaking up the wood that I know that is good and dry, and get my piles established before I go out for some more. But I got to be careful not to overheat as I'm working here, because I'm actually starting to sweat on the inside, which is something that you definitely don't want to do. So I got to tell myself, pace myself. Still have good 2.5 hours of daylight, 2 hours of daylight, and just keep staying focused. So it's about 4:40. We're getting close to golden hour. I'm going to take a short walk down the trail just to see what's up ahead. Walk about a quarter mile. I'm going to walk back and then probably start dinner and get ready to get this fire going. But the lighting out here is really beautiful. It's been a lot of work, but hopefully it all pays off, and we have a memorable evening here. It's really awesome. The difference between being out here in the woods by myself and being at a campground is like night and day. headed back to camp. Was just scouting ahead, checking out a few things. Getting kind of hungry. Heard some gunshots in the distance. I guess a hunter or maybe somebody shooting at a house. It's a nice chunk of public land here, but there are some developments not too far from here, really. But yeah, once this starts getting dark here, it is going to get dark. The scene is going to change quickly. So it's going to be an interesting evening. It's 5 o'clock now, and it's dinner time. So we got beef stew, Mountain House. I had a lot of trouble getting that fire started. It's going now, but I really got to keep an eye on it because my lighter, is crashed out. I just bought it on the way up here at like the 7-Eleven, and it's a piece of junk. I had to use the my pocket stove actually to light the fire. So that's another trick. If you can get that lit, you got a nice flame to get a fire lit. But you can hear it hissing. A lot of water in there, so this is going to be a project, keeping this going all night. All right, fire's burning nicely now. Dinner's ready. I'm trying to heat my feet up. I put down the ground sheet for my tent for something to sit on. That's something I need to invest in. That's something I know now for anything like this. Got to have something to sit on to keep your butt dry. The belly's full. I'm getting nice and warm. Fire's still going pretty good. And we're into that twilight period now. After golden hour, I think they call it the blue hour or something. It's so quiet. And this is when you got to keep your mind focused on what you're doing, because when you're out here by yourself and you start thinking different things and looking behind yourself every once in a while, but you can't think that way. Oh, I got to just keep focused on keeping the fire going, working on getting my shoes dry. That's the main thing. But it sure beats a typical Saturday if I was home right now. I can tell you that much. I just walked away from the campfire and came out to the trail here for a second because I hear coyotes wailing in the distance, but I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. It's really wild out here. All right, so the wind has died down considerably, and that was one of my big concerns. It's been so windy all week, but it's just nice and calm, and you can hear a pin drop now. My tent is pretty close to the fire, but it's just burning straight up, nice and smooth, easy peasy. The coyotes are going absolutely crazy. What a beautiful sound. I hope they don't get too close though. Stars are starting to come out. It's about 7 o'clock now, 7:15. Really getting dark now. Fire is roaring. Just getting my shoes dried. Trying to keep my mind focused. I'm gonna go out and look at that sky in a little bit, see if we can get some astrophotography. It's beautiful stuff. Well, I'm back out on the trail now and looking for, seeing if I can find like a little clearing to look up at the stars. But there just doesn't seem to be much. It's kind of interesting walking down the trail here at night. Got this new headlamp, it gives off a lot of light. So this is what it looks like. This is what night hiking looks like. What do you think? Is it for you? Well, I took a couple shots of the night sky, got the best I could get. It is beautiful, but it is hard in a deep forest here to really get that open shot. You need to be by like a lake or an overlook or something like that. So, go back to the fire now and gonna sit there for a few more minutes and I'm probably gonna head in. All right, well, I hope you guys are enjoying the video as much as I'm enjoying spending the evening out here. I just want to say thanks again to all of you watching, how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate your comments, your questions, your subscribership, and all of your support over the years. It feels pretty comfy in here right now. I'm not sure what it's going to feel like a few hours from now. I'm letting the fire burn, as I've said several times. I'll probably go out later tonight in a couple hours, maybe to stoke it up if I need to. Still have plenty of firewood. But yeah, I feel pretty good in here right now. It's probably maybe 50-ish degrees right now, so I got plenty of layers, should be fine, and I'm getting sleepy. Nature Adventure Discovery, something a little different today, just a simple camp out, and that's about it. I'll see you in the morning. All right, good night. Good morning. It's now 7:30 a.m. and it is 21 degrees. We survived the night. That's the word I'll use, survived. I was feeling pretty good when I went into the tent about 9 o'clock, and around 2:30 a.m. I woke up to howling wind, and I was able to look at my phone and see that there was actually a snow squall that was moving through. And I noticed also that my feet had gotten cold, had gotten frozen, and I kind of lost them. And I lost them for the rest of the evening. I couldn't really get back to sleep, so it got really cold. And as to show you as an example here, my water bottle froze, which indicates to me that it reached, you know, about 32 degrees inside the tent. So it was rough, and it was a rough going getting out of the tent here and getting broken down. But the sun's coming down behind me here at least now, so believe it or not, just standing here in the sun is warming things up. But I think what I'm going to do is just head back to the car, and I'll talk to you as we go. But my feet are really in bad shape, and I was going to go for maybe a hike this morning, but I'm going to head back to the car. All right, making my way back to the car now, and let's go over some of the lessons I think I learned here. Lesson number one, you always have to prepare and double check when you're backpacking and you're alone. In winter conditions, triple check. So one mistake I made was that I took a lighter that was not a good lighter. Luckily, in my food bag, I didn't even know it, but I did have a second backup lighter. So always carry at least two forms of matches or lighter, or a way to create spark fire. Also, my fuel canister for my cook stove, that ran out of fuel. So that's why I can't have coffee this morning. And it made it almost impossible for me to heat up my beef stew. I had to heat my water up by the fire. Excuse me. I need better hiking boots for winter. I've had these Merrell Moab hiking boots for several years. When I bought them, they were waterproof. They're no longer waterproof. They actually had a crust of ice inside of them this morning. So footwear is a must. Always, always, always. If you're going to spend money on gear, always spend your money on good hiking, good footwear, good foot gear. That's very important. The tent was okay temperature-wise, but because we were laying on snow, and actually underneath the snow was about a half inch or maybe an inch of solid ice, I guess my body heat was melting some of that snow and ice, and it actually came up through the bottom of the tent. Underneath my sleep pad was frozen. So I don't think that tent really works too well for snow camping. So I need a better tent. I was thinking also about some kind of like battery operated, like maybe small portable heater might be a good option. The sleeping pad did well, actually. Again, not very comfortable, but it did keep me warm compared to the rest of the tent area, floor space. So yeah, some lessons learned. That's why I just came out here a short distance in case anything went wrong, and it was an experience. Like my friend said, not fun, but a good learning experience and a little bit of an adventure. All right, guys, so we're almost back to the car now, and my feet are still like burning. My toes, I don't think it's not frostbite, but it's probably like whatever that level is before frostbite. So I feel like a little disappointed, like I'm letting you down by not going on a longer hike this morning, but I think I just have to do the smart thing here. I have to use common sense. I take a lot of risks for the channel to try to bring you the very best content that I can. But I think this time I'm just going to do the smart thing. Head back to the car, get myself warmed up. And we are in Poconos, so I think I have an idea for another place I might want to check out and show you that I've been to, but I've never filmed it. We'll see how things go. All right, I'll see you at the parking lot. We're pulling away from the trailhead now. I'm heading to another location. I want to take this time to say once again, thank you. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. And if you have any advice or input on how I can improve my gear or do better for a winter setup, I'd love to hear from you guys on that. But it was, like I said, a learning experience. Wasn't maybe like a super fun experience, but it was interesting, and I'm glad I did it. And I hope you were able to get some value out of it. So that's about it. And until next time, I'll see you on the next adventure, or the next trail, or whatever. All right, guys, Gator out.